The Fourth Corporate War began as a race between the two rival aquatech agencies. In late 2021, two oceanic exploitation corporations, CINO and OTEC, fought for control over the remains of a third corp named IHA. The legal conflict quickly escalated into physical struggle. The rise in violence and Black Ops attacks led OTEC to hire Militech to protect their facilities and personnel. CINO responded in kind and signed with Arasaka, and all the so-called Ocean War became what is known as the Fourth Corporate War. As is always the case in early stages of corporate conflict, the first attacks were carried out discreetly. Some mid-level corporate officials were assassinated here and minor information stole there. Then mercenary netrunners hired by both sides start to make dozens of attacks on data servers and stock holdings, which wrought chaos on the already fragile global economy. Which, if you don't remember from the last video, it was struggling hard to bounce back after the collapse. Those events forced NetWatch to place a temporary communication embargo on Arasaka and Militech, but that almost had no effect as the behemoths were just warming it up. By the time the Eurobank was successfully mediated a truce between CINO and OTEC, the real beef between Militech and Arasaka has passed its tipping point and nothing could be done at this point. By 2022, a new struggle between the security giants has begun, known today as the Shadow War. This marked the second stage of the Fourth Global Corporate War. The conflict during this phase was more covert than brutal. Mercs and edge runners flocked to the banners of both corpos, executing covert ops and raids on military and research facilities. Despite the visceral nature of this conflict, the deadliest battle actually occurred on the net, when corporate and mercenary netrunners released a new generation of devastating viral programs. Some of this code continued to operate long after the death of its creators, leaving vast areas of the net irreparably dark and dangerous. By June of 2022, Militech and Arasaka decided that niceties and subtlety were no longer necessary. The conflict now entered the third stage, called the Hot War. Fighting between the two military corporations escalated to full-scale war. Cities like Rio de Janeiro were literally reduced to rubble, and most of the population got killed in the process. Global trade was paralyzed by military action and market collapse. International trade routes were hit hard, and piracy raged free and unchecked. Finally, the countries of the world became wary of the corporate conflict. Some governments openly blamed Militech and Arasaka for the situation and withdrew their support, nationalizing their weakened holdings in those countries. In America, Arasaka Towers in Night City were the last of the company's headquarters still standing. Well, that until a tactical nuclear weapon got detonated by a group of unidentified mercenaries, wiping out the whole city center. It is still uncertain who to blame for this horrific bombing that killed over 500,000 people. However, most stories point to the Atlantis group as culprits. This group was formed by some legendary figures on the Cyberpunk universe, such as Rogue, that still lives in 2077, Morgan Blackhand, and Johnny Silverhand. At some point in the near future, I will be doing a separate video for each one of those iconic characters that will most definitely play a major role on the events of 2077. So, to not miss any of that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and activate the notification bell. If you do that, I will make sure to add some chew to the hype train until the release of the game. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I see you next time.